Abուշիմեգը բիդիալլաս եթե չհասկնաս, որ Ամերիկայի Միացյալ Նահանգները հայկական է, Bari Luys. Bari Luys. As I explained to you almost a month ago, Bari Luys means good light. Today is Thursday, and everybody speaks English. Well, sometimes, our elderly who don't speak English, they have to speak in Armenian. And I'm sure they're going to call me and tell me, why am I speaking in English? Because I am the Armenian. But as I have always insisted, that the younger generation cannot express themselves in the Armenian language. That's the unfortunate part, and as the Armenian language disappears, Armenians will disappear too. That's how I believe it will happen. But now that we can start talking in English, and you as a younger teenager or a young adult who would love to express in English, please call me. I know you have lots of things to say. Even if I don't put any topic for you to talk right now, you can call me and tell me exactly how you feel about the Armenians. In the last few days, my topics were about the Armenian identity as far as who is an Armenian woman and who is an Armenian man. We do have stereotypes about all those labeled characters. And they're just informing that you guys are calling already. So let's go to you. I guess you hang up. Okay. I only have 24 minutes to talk to you. All right, they're telling me you're back. Bari Luys. Bari Luys?
Bari Luys.
Parev?
Barev.
Do you have anything
Hello.
to say? Yes.
Yeah.
No?
Banet me.
Dan?
Hello.
I've been asking you to talk to me. The opportunity is given to you to express. I know some Armenians cannot express, but that's not my problem because I can always talk and let you guys start picking up the phone and call. I would like to mention something in Armenian here, and then I'll translate it. Սիրելի հայեր, առավոտյան ժամը 8-ին ուտուգես որ զանգարում եք, ուղիղ եթև չէ այդ մեկը։ Եվ խնդրում եմ հայ դղամարդիկ, եւ որ զանգարում եք շնորհքով խոսեցեք։ Եղավ առավոտյան։ Իրգունդը արդեն հերս կրնակ խոսին։ Basically, I told my audience that in the morning, because this show gets repeated every day in the morning from 8 to 8:30. So whoever calls from 8 in the morning to 8:30 in the morning, they're not going to get me. They're just going to get the answering service. Let's go. Bari Luys? Bari Luys?
Bari Luys.
Bari Luys?
Bari Luys.
Bari Luys.
Bari Luys.
Desar Solvetsar, you learned right now. Do you have any opinions?
Bari Luys.
Some of the Armenians in Southern California, they're retards. So this guy was one of them. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong about being retard, but at least to be able to communicate. Bari Luys. Bari Luys. Bari Luys? Bari Luys, a caller from Glendale. Bari Luys.
Bari Luys. Ես ինչ ես անգլերեն խոսում, Ստեփան։
Մայրիկ, ասեցի չէ ամեն 5 շաբթի մեր երեխեքը որ հայերեն չեն կարող արտահայտվել, պետք է անգլերենով խոսեն։ Մենք մոռանում ենք, որ մեր երեխաները հայերենով չեն կարող արտահայտվել եւ իրենք են իսկական վնասը գրողը այս քաղտոջախի մեջ։ Եղամայրիկ,
Ես էլ զարմացա, ասում եմ, ես ինչա Ստեփանը սկսի անգլերեն խոսալ։
5 շաբթի օրերը արիթ եմ տալիս մարդկանց, որ անգլերենով արդայդին, մի մոնար, որ մոտավորապես 11 միլիոն մարդ է ապրում այս տարածքի մեջ, որ տեսնում են, եւ նրանք գարզիկ ունեն հայերի մասին, բայց հայերեն չեն կարող ասել։ Շնորհակալ։
Իրանք էլ լսեն ինչի մասին նախոսակցությունը գնում։
Այո, Bari
Դա քրքիր է։
Bari Luys.
Bari Luys Ստեփան, Bari Luys։
So, I'm just going to present to you a topic today, and you as a young Armenian who you are forced to call yourself an Armenian, and some of you don't want to be an Armenian. And here is what your parents is asking you to be and what you like to be. So please call me and express to me that you don't want to be an Armenian or you do want to be an Armenian, and the pros and the cons of being an Armenian or not an Armenian, even though your family insists that you're an Armenian. Bari Luys. Bari Luys? Bari Luys? Bari Luys. Սեներ, եթե ուզում եք արդահայտվեք անգլերենով։ Bari Luys.
Bari Luys.
Bari Luys. Please don't look at the monitor, just talk to me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Armenian race, we consider ourselves to be the smartest of all. Yet, like even the smartest of all sometimes cannot comprehend the procedure of how to call into a live show. And then as you can see right now, almost over 51% of the callers cannot, it's not that they're not able to talk, they're able to talk, but they're looking at the monitor thinking that the minute they pick up the phone, the monitor should reflect their existence over there. Unfortunately, it's been 17 years for me and some over 20 years for other television hosts that we always insist on the audience to just turn off the TV off when they want to talk. Bari Luys. Bari Luys. Bari Luys. Okay. So, you as a young man who your parents have told you you're an Armenian, but you as a young man, you consider yourself to be a human being. Is there an urgent need to call yourself an Armenian, or you just want to be a human being? I know this is anti-Armenian propaganda, but you know what? Reality is that thousands and thousands of younger Armenians living in Southern California, they don't identify themselves as Armenians. I want you to call me, be gutsy and tell me why. Bari Luys.
Stepan, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm listening to your program for a long time.
Okay.
And generally I agree with you. A lot of things you say, I agree with you. Mm-hmm. But last couple of times, already, we keep talking about same stuff, Can we go on, get more things that you have a lot of things to teach people. Yeah. But this thing's not going nowhere.
See, there are two ways of teaching people. There is one way that you lecture and nobody listens to you. The other way is you make the person talk about the topic. And then you can start a communication and then you can be able to teach them something. So my topics lately, it's been about the Armenian identity. Just like yesterday was who is an Armenian woman, and then the day before who is an Armenian man. Today I'm saying, today's topic is all the younger generation kids who don't want to identify themselves as Armenians. And we do have a lot of those. I know Armenians think that everyone who is born of an Armenian family is an Armenian. But we are faced with reality. There are lots of kids who don't want to identify themselves as Armenians. And here is a way for them to call and express. So I don't think I'm repeating the same topics.
All right. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But I'm always, most of the time, I agree with you because you're saying things, that people are going to realize after 5 or 10 years, the things you say now. You know what I'm saying?
I know, I do understand. I really appreciate that you're giving me the chance to express those things again and make it into a repetitious, as you said, that topics. But we do need
right.
them. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, bye-bye.
It is very hard for any individual. I remember like a few days ago, somebody called and said that he doesn't feel Armenian. That was a guy talking in Armenian. And then here is the opportunity for you. I know it takes guts to be able to express. It is not like going to a nightclub and acting like a human being in a nightclub. Here you have to talk about your emotions. You have to talk about how your father and mother, the most dearest people in your life, are telling you something, but you feel something else. You feel that, why should I bother with my Armenian identity? The whole planet is advancing and Armenians are still in the same, I don't want to use the bad word, but you know what type of a hole they are in. So it is important for you to be able to express, and Thursday night is the night where you as a non-Armenian speaking individual are given the opportunity to call in and express. Therefore we can progress. When you express, you can progress. Armenians have not expressed. I know we talk a lot, but we haven't given the truth. We haven't given the real emotion behind all those identity issues that we have. Sergar Zika.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I would like to express my feeling about being Armenian and not being Armenian.
Please.
The reason is the parents, they have the complex. That's why sometimes I see the parents, they cannot even speak English, but they try to communicate with their children in English. It's a shame. I'm
that's
feeling
different.
So bad.
But that's different about the emotions of being an Armenian or not being an Armenian. It's different. I know that Armenians will say, we have gone through a genocide, you need to be an Armenian. My kid, you have to be an Armenian because your grandfather's father passed, they killed him and such on. But is it a burden that we need to pass it on to our next generation? And because we do that things...
It doesn't matter because you can be different nationality, different identity, but you can still keep your identity as Armenian, or if you want to be an Arab or different nationality, but you have some roots as Armenian.
Okay, so because I always say being an Armenian is not... It's not a right given to you. It's a choice that you choose. If you choose to be an Armenian, you can be an Armenian. And unfortunately, in today's society, we take the burden of being an Armenian very easily. Oh, my parents are Armenian, then I'm an Armenian. Yet, we know nothing about the Armenian culture. So, thank you very much for your expression
You're
of...
welcome.
Thank
Bari
you.
Luys.
Bari Luys. Now I have to go to a commercial break because, as you know, in God we trust. And what is the closest thing to God? The US dollar. Bari Luys.
Մերի Տեր-Բարսեղյանի իրավաբանական գրասենյակում աշխատող անձնակազմը մասնագիտացված է ժառանգության եւ անշարժ գույքի, ընտանեկան խնդիրների, ամուսնալուծության եւ այլ իրավաբանական հարցերում։ Մերի Տեր-Բարսեղյանի իրավաբանական գրասենյակի մասնագետները պատրաստ են սիրով եւ նվիրումով օգնել իրենց հաճախորդներին, ցուցաբերելով անհատական մոտեցում, կտակ, լիազորագրեր եւ այլ կարեւոր փաստաթղթեր կազմելիս, որպիսի հետագայում ժառանգությունը փոխանցվի հարազատներին առանց դատարանի միջամտության։ Դիմեք իրավաբանին նախապես եւ վստահ եղեք, որ ձեր իրավունքները լիովին կպաշտպանվեն։
LABK Services հաստատությունը առաջարկում է սննկացման, bankruptcy-ի հայտարարագրման ծառայություններ։ Դիմումների ամբողջական լրացում 1 ցածր արժեքով։ $399 գումարած արձանագրության պետական վճարումը։ Bankruptcy-ի դիմելու դյուրին ընթացք, ժամանակի ու դրամի խնայողություն։ Մենք երաշխավորում ենք սննկացման գործընթացի գաղտնապահությունը։ Bankruptcy-ի հետ կապված բոլոր հարցերով դիմեք LABK Services գրասենյակ։
Երբևիցե մտքովդ անցել է, որ 1 սանտիմետրը կարող է որոշիչ լինել մի ամբողջ ազգի համար, իսկ ավելի ստույգ ողջ հայության համար։ Եվ այդ 1 սանտիմետրի լինել-չլինելու հարցը հենց քո ձեռքերում է։ Կասես ինչպես, շատ պարզ։ Հայաստանի երկարատև խաղաղությունն ապահովող Վարդենիս Մարտակերտ մայրօղու երկարությունը մոտավորապես 100 կիլոմետր է, կամ 10 միլիոն սանտիմետր։ Ամբողջ աշխարհում ապրում է մոտ 10 միլիոն հայ։ Ստացվում է, որ յուրաքանչյուր հային բաժին է ընկնում ճանապարհի հենց 1 սանտիմետրը։ Կառուցիր Հայաստանի երկարատև խաղաղության քո 1 սանտիմետրը։ Կառուցենք Վարդենիս Մարտակերտ մայրօղին, կառուցենք ազգովի, ես, դու, մենք։ Մասնակցեք Հայաստան համայնքական հիմնադրամի հեռուստամարաթոն 2013-ին գոհաբանության օրը նոյեմբերի 28-ին առավոտյան ժամը 8-ից Լոս Անջելեսի 18-րդ հեռուստաալիքով։
I have accomplished many things in my lifetime. Achieved success and wealth, living in luxury and enjoying the best that the world has to offer. Built trust and respect. Acquired taste for the finer things. Through it all, I never lost my integrity. Value and cherish memories of my homeland and its unforgettable taste. Kilikia, ultimate luxury.
Գարունը ձեր նախաճաշի համար առաջարկում է բնական, առանց արհեստական հորմոնների, Կալիֆոռնիայի թարմ կաթից պատրաստված սերուցք։ Վայելեք գարունի համեղ և անշփոթելի սերուցքի համը ձեր նախաճաշի հացի, մեղրի կամ ձեր սիրած մուրաբայի ու ջեմի հետ։ Գարուն, համեղության անուն։
It is still Bari Luys, meaning good light. You guys are waiting online. It is about the identity. You as an Armenian are forced to be an Armenian, or you as a human being, you just want to be an Armenian or not. That is the question. Bari Luys. Bari Luys. Bari Luys. Bari Luys. Parevzes. What do you think about the Armenian identity?
Hi, about the Armenian identity. I'm very proud to be an Armenian, and there were times, though, I want to mention that I wasn't as proud to admit my identity, just because of the few things that the media touched upon Armenians, and they were true. So, but going back, the identity you can lose, and you can find an identity.
Let me ask you a question.
Our younger generation who lost that still finds it and adapts it back.
Let me ask you a question. You feel that you're an Armenian because your parents told you you were raised in an Armenian family, or you choose to be an Armenian?
It's a combination of both, to be honest with you. I was raised to be an Armenian, and now that I'm older, I feel Armenian, and I want to live Armenian.
How old are you?
I want to preach Armenian, and I work in my work environment is non-Armenian, and I'm very proud to represent something Armenian and explain what it is. So that's why I say, but I said that it is possible to lose the identity, but it is possible to get it back, because there was a time that...
How old were you back then?
How old?
How old were you back when there was a time that you didn't want to be an Armenian?
Early mid-20s, when the first few things around Armenian nationality started going around, and there was a big scandal. I'm sure everyone know about. I don't want to talk about it. and that put a really, really bad stain on being on Armenian nationality and belonging. So those times, I was really ashamed of how would I say it? Saying that anything Armenian existed around me. So.
Do you educate yourself to constantly be an Armenian? Do you try to educate yourself, or you say, I was given the right to be an Armenian and I am an Armenian?
No, first of all, I think it doesn't matter what you are born into. It matters what kind of a person or individual you are. So I'm not trying to be Armenian first and a human being second. I'm trying to be human being first and then Armenian second. Because if you're a good human being, a good Armenian just comes out naturally. So you are not being forced to be a good Armenian, because it just comes out. It becomes more interesting. It becomes more challenging to become different than others are.
What is the definition of a good Armenian?
A good Armenian, I would say it's someone who's true to its roots and can take the shame that they did and say, hey, you know what, it happened, and it happens to everyone, and we can fix it, we can do it together, let's try again. And there is, I think that's a very broad explanation I could give. Just for me, a good Armenian is, I admit that I am Armenian, and I say, you know what, yes, that happened.
Okay.
But not all do that, and there are a few bad people who put stains on Armenians, but not everyone like that.
Well, thank you very much for your honesty. Bari Luys. Bari Luys.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the medium for you to be able to express. Now I'm going to come back to the question, what makes a good Armenian? Can a good Chinese be a good Armenian? Because the qualification of humanity is the same, whether you're Chinese or an Armenian, whether you're a Mexican or an Armenian. A good person is a good person. But what does make you an Armenian? Bari Luys. Bari Luys? Bari Luys.
Bari Luys.
Khantrim.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you about this second question about being a good Armenian, all right?
Okay.
Good Armenian, it doesn't mean who are you, what race are you. Good Armenian, we understand this way. Everybody talks about that Armenians are the first Christians, right?
Oh, if you want to say it that way, yes.
Everybody says, oh, we Armenians, we are the first Christians and blah, blah, blah. First of all, let the Armenians try to be a good Armenian, show everybody else that they're good Christians by following the Christianity rules.
Okay, but see, like, I'm a good Armenian, but I'm not a Christian.
Well, that's a different than.
So do I lose my being good Armenian since I'm not a Christian?
Well, it's a hard question in a way, but in a way, yes. Then otherwise, they shouldn't just say that good Armenians are Christians or blah 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 blah.
Okay, so I don't think religion makes you into a good Armenian. You can choose to be a Muslim Armenian, a Christian Armenian, a Jewish Armenian, a Hindu Armenian.
Something like that, you can't. How are you going to be a Muslim Armenian?
There are 4 million Muslim Armenians living right now in Western Armenia. There are lots of England. There are lots of Buddhist Armenians. There are Hindu Armenians. There are Jewish Armenians. So that's a choice. Like, you choose to drive a Mercedes or BMW. Christianity or being a Muslim or being a Jew is just like a choice you make. But being a good Armenian.
True, but see, that's the reason we separate from other races. Like, we are Armenians. We're not saying we're Mexicans or Chinese like you're saying.
Well, they do have two hands, 2 legs. We have 2 hands, 2 legs. We have 2 eyes. They have 2 eyes, whoever the others are. 2 ears, 1 mouth. I don't have hair. Some of them don't have hair. So it goes beyond that natural things that we talk about. What is a good Armenian? It's a very deep question I'm asking. And thank you very much for your honesty. And you feel that being Christian or being a good Christian.
One more thing. my friend. One more thing. Your first question, all right?
Yes.
About why I am Armenian, but I'm German Armenian. I have some German Armatner, let's say, in my base.
Okay.
So if I'm getting, let's say, pulled over by an officer in especially Glendale City, I'm going to try to avoid that I'm Armenian in first case.
Why not? Why are you going to avoid to?
Well, then that's what I'm saying. As soon as they find out that I'm Armenian, they're just going to think that there's something's going to be in my car. I'm doing something wrong.
You as a U.S. citizen have all the rights to neglect how they think about you. It happened to me. They stopped me, and the first question to me was, he spit on the floor, and then he said, "How many times have you been arrested?" And I just responded back to him, and I took it all the way to the city hall and to the police chief too. You have the right to defend your right, because in this country you're not assumed to be a guilty person till it is proven. So please never in Glendale, if the cop pulls you, don't even think of that you're not an Armenian. Make sure that you tell him that you're an Armenian and his salary is being paid by Armenians. Pari?
I don't know. Avoid problems, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you very much. How old are you?
I'm 29 years old.
29 years old. Thank you very much for calling, and unfortunately only Thursday nights is the English programming. Thank you, Bari Luys. Bari Luys. Ladies and gentlemen, as you see, there are lots of issues in the community, and once we start expressing it in English, it becomes more real instead of being a dream, just like the Christian faith, which is a dream that every Armenian carries because of their father have dreamt it too. So, and then by the way, when I say I'm not Christian, just because I am an Armenian. If you're an Armenian, you can't be a Christian. Christianity teaches internationalism, just like communism. If you're a Christian, everybody is equal to each other. To all the people who understood me, Bari Luys, and whoever didn't understand me, continue watching me till next time. Bari Luys. Աբուշի մեկը պիտի լաս, եթե չհասկնաս, որ Ամերիկայի Միացյալ Նահանգները հայկական է։ Bari Luys.